Naturally Beautiful Girl. So my makeup may look a little crazy right now, and that is because it's partially done. I thought because there have been a lot of new launches in the clean beauty space that I would take the time today to sit down, demo a few of them for you, share with you my thoughts. So if you've been curious about the Kosas, this is their Cloud Set Press Setting Powder, the Victoria Beckham Beauty Mascara, or new lightest shades of the Kosas and Ilia concealers. I have both of these too. I'm going to swatch them and compare them to the previous lightest shades because I have fair porcelain skin. I'm pretty much always the lightest shade of things, and actually both of those concealers, I could have used a lighter shade in both of them, so I'm really curious to see what these look like, and we can kind of talk about that. But let's go ahead and start finishing up my makeup because I feel like I look a little crazy right now. Because I realize, especially with the concealers, if you don't have a fair porcelain skin tone, kind of comparing the concealer shades may not be the most helpful for you. I am going to put timestamps in this video, so if you'd like to, for instance, learn my thoughts about the setting powder or the mascara, you can hop ahead to those sections in the video. Let's first start off with the concealer because I have no under eye concealer on right now, and I definitely have some dark circles going. This is the Ilia True Skin Serum Concealer in the shade Mallow. Mallow, yes, like marshmallow. And then this is the Kosas concealer in 0.5, and I literally was just talking about how I'd like to have like a 0.5 in this concealer, so my wish was granted. Not mad about that. Okay, and then the two concealers that I had previously was the Kosas concealer in 1 and the Ilia True Skin Serum Concealer in Arrowroot. So let me swatch the two Ilia concealers side by side, the two Kosas concealers side by side. Then I'll pick one to put on today and we'll go from there. I've got the swatches all on my wrist now. Before I jump into sharing my thoughts on the shades, first I want to say I am sitting in front of filming lights. It is being recorded on my camera, which automatically cameras just undergo some color correction themselves. And then you're watching it on a screen that also may be altering the color. So when I say something doesn't match my skin or I'm not happy with it, you're going to have to take my word for it. I can look at it in natural lighting with my own eyes and tell you whether I like the color or not for me. So with that being said, because of all those situations, I'm also going to be posting pictures of these swatches on my Instagram. If you don't follow me, go ahead and follow me. I'm at Naturally Beautiful Cat. But that way you can see the swatches in photograph form and not just in video form. This first swatch closest to my hand is the Ilia concealer in the shade Arrowroot, and the second swatch down is the new lightest shade, which is the Ilia concealer in the shade Mallow. As you can see, the shade Mallow is a much better match for my skin tone. It is more neutral in undertone. It's just lighter, like it just blends in with my skin tone much better. Down here, the next shade is the Kosas concealer in the shade 1, and then the lowest one down here is the Kosas concealer in the shade 0.5. I also swatched the Kosas concealer over here in the shade 0.5 so we could see it right next to the Ilia concealer, because as I swatched them down in a row, I realized that the Kosas concealer in 0.5 is almost identical in shade to the Ilia concealer in the shade Mallow. If you have really fair porcelain skin like I do, I'm really happy with both of these shades. Like they're actually going to be brightening under my eyes now. So I would say if you prefer the Kosas formula, to go with the Kosas option. If you prefer the Ilia formula, go with the Ilia option. Previously, I preferred the Ilia formula. I will now be trying them out again together because I really like these shades. Also, let me swatch a few more concealers that I really like the shade of so we can see them all together now. Okay, so I have a whole bunch of concealer swatches on my wrist here. These are all what I consider to be like the lightest concealers I have found in clean beauty. As I said, I have really fair porcelain skin tone. I realize this is not going to be helpful for everyone. So right here at the bottom, we have the Ilia, the new Ilia in the shade Mallow, the Kosas in the shade 0.5. Next, we have the Saint Cosmetics concealer. I was surprised. This is actually pulling, I'm not sure if it's translating on camera, but this is pulling more pink than these two new concealer shades, which I thought was really interesting. So these are like super neutral in undertone, which I am really excited to see. Because as you'll see from the rest of the swatches, the other concealers that I considered light enough for me were all really pink in undertone. The next one is the Aaron's Faces concealer in the shade Cottonwood. Up here we have the Kosas, or not the Kosas, the Kara Weiss concealer. This is in the shade 110. That was the lightest shade they had of that. And then this is the Fit Glow Concealer up here in the shade C1. So hopefully this is translating on camera. These two are the most neutral in undertone. If you are a little bit unhappy with the other Clean Beauty concealer shades being a little bit too pink in undertone, if you have super fair porcelain skin like I do, these two new ones are definitely the most neutral that I have in my collection. For finishing off my makeup today, I'm going to actually use the Kosas concealer in the shade 0.5N because I'm going to be using the setting powder. I like trying to pair products from the same brand together, so I feel like it makes sense for me to use this concealer and that setting powder. Okay, let's see how this looks. Yeah, this shade, like, look how nice and brightening that is under my eyes. Like, this is going to be a much, much better shade. I've been gravitating towards using my Clove & Hallow concealer brush to blend out concealers again recently, so that's what I'm going to use. Yeah, look at how much, oh my gosh, this is such a better shade for me. Okay. Okay, I'm so much happier with how this looks. It just actually brightens under my eyes, which, because I have such fair porcelain skin, it's really hard to find concealers that are brightening. I mean, it's hard to find concealers that don't deepen under my eyes, but let alone, it's even harder to find concealers that are actually brightening. I'm just adding a little bit more. So I have some pretty bad dark circles at the moment. I'm so much happier with that shade. I'm gonna have to kind of re-go through the process of testing out these concealers and really give you like an updated concealer ranking. Hopefully I will do that soon. But yeah, just first thoughts on this, that shade is just so much better. And same thing with the Ilia, those shades are just a lot better suited for fair porcelain skin tones. With some concealer on now, let's move on to the setting powder. I have the setting powder in the shade Airy, and as you can see, I've actually kind of made a dent in this, which I will explain in a moment. So I've only had this concealer for about like a week, but the thing is I feel like you really have to dig into the product to actually get a lot of setting powder off, and so that's why I've made a dent in this. The one thing I like about this product is that they do have different shades, because you know, this shade is good on me. It doesn't deepen up my concealer. It doesn't deepen up my foundation or anything like that. But I also realize that this shade, if you have a deeper skin tone, may end up white casting. So I appreciate that they have a range of shades of this product, because there's no such thing as a perfectly translucent setting powder. There's some that are better than others, but having just like a little bit of tint, it's kind of the same thing with sunscreen. Just having like a little bit of tint really does go a long way. So I'm gonna apply this so you can see kind of what I'm going to be talking about here. But I'm first gonna start by applying it under my eyes, and then I will also use it to set the rest of my face. This powder actually paired with the Kosas concealer is an okay pairing for me. I've used this setting powder with a lot of different concealers, and I found that with some concealers, in order to actually get things set, the powder can start to make things look cakey. It is pairing well with the Kosas concealer, which honestly is not surprising. When they were probably testing and developing this product, they were probably testing it with the Kosas concealer. So together they work well, but when I've used it with other concealers, I've honestly not been happy with how it looks under my eyes. I feel like in order to actually feel like things are set well, I've had to apply so much product that it just looks cakey and creasy and not the best. And I'm sure I'm gonna run into this problem today while I'm using it. My concealer definitely creases when I use it. Concealer always creases some, but when I use something like my 14E setting powder, the creasing is very minimal, and the creasing that I do get, I can like easily kind of tap out with my finger and I look good. Whereas with this, it gets creasy, and then with the kind of cakiness of it, it just doesn't have the best look. So I don't love that about this product. I am going to use it to set my face. And one of the things that's really touted about this powder is that it doesn't take away your glow. And to be really honest, I'm gonna say I agree with that assessment. It does keep a nice glow to your skin. Obviously, it is kind of mattifying things a bit because it is a powder, but it's not as mattifying. It's not as mattifying as other powders I've used. And I actually like the way it does set my face. However, I'm going to say this because my skin is very oily, and during the winter, I can get away with things being a little bit more glowy, a little bit more dewy. So during the winter, this powder works to set my face, but honestly, I don't think during the summer it's going to cut it. I'm going to need something more like my Clove and Hallow Press Setting Powder that's more of a heavy duty powder, because with this kind of level of glow it keeps in my skin, while it's great for winter, everything's going to slide around and I'm going to become an oil slick in the middle of summer. Like, it's not going to work for me. I would say if you have dry skin, that this is going to be a nice setting powder for you, because like I said, it doesn't just fully mattify you. But if you have oily skin, I think like me, it's really only going to be serviceable during the winter. And I mean, I have a lot of products that I favor during the winter and during the summer, but I also have a lot of setting powders like the Clove and Hallow setting powder and the 14U setting powder that really just work year round for me, and I would rather just have those products instead of something like this. This isn't a product where I'm like, you need to run out and buy it. It works for certain circumstances. I can see where it works for certain people, but it's not a product I would recommend. I don't really think it's worth picking up. So moving on to the Victoria Beckham Beauty Mascara. So I've been testing this one out for a while now, probably a little bit less than a month, but I've been testing it out for a while. And this mascara intrigued me because it's a tubing mascara. There's one other tubing mascara that I've run across in the clean beauty space, and that is the Merit Beauty Mascara. And I recently did a review all about Merit Beauty. I'm going to link that video up above. I highly recommend checking that out, especially to see that mascara, the Merit Beauty Mascara, in action. Because I'm sitting at home and not seeing anyone, I did a test run where I wore the Victoria Beckham Beauty Mascara on one eye and the Merit Beauty Mascara on the other eye, just to see how they performed and everything, and really compare them side by side. The Victoria Beckham Beauty Mascara for me is a more dramatic mascara. It gives me more volume, more length. It's just a little bit more of a dramatic mascara. Also, I find it to be more of an aggressive tubing mascara. And what I mean by that is that the Merit Beauty Mascara, when you wash it off, I find that I need a little bit of cleanser. Like, it doesn't have to be like an oil makeup removing cleanser, but I do need some of my like face wash, like what I'm using as my cleanser, to get some of the mascara off. However, with this one, like once you get it in warm water, like it comes off in huge flakes. Like, it's really bizarre. If you've never used a tubing mascara, like it just flakes off in these huge flakes. No smudging, just like what you think of when you think about a tubing mascara. Whereas the Merit, I say, is like kind of, it's like, it is a tubing mascara, but it's not as, it doesn't have both feet as firmly in the tubing mascara category as this one. So if you are looking for a full-blown tubing mascara in the clean beauty space, I do recommend this one. And I have really enjoyed it. And one thing I found really interesting, I just wanted to point out quickly, was this mascara has on the bottom a 6-month expiration date. Most mascaras have a 3-month expiration date. I found that to be really interesting. I've never really seen that in another mascara. I'm not entirely sure how or why it has a longer expiration date, but that's something worth considering. Victoria Beckham Beauty is a luxury beauty brand, but the price of this mascara wasn't ridiculous, and if you can use it for twice as long as a regular mascara, I mean, that's a pretty good deal. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply this today. I first want to say, when I'm getting ready to apply this, that the mascara is a little loopy. Like, I feel like a lot of mascara comes off on the wand. It wasn't this way when I first got it. It's definitely dried down, even though I've only had it for a few weeks. And I really feel like I have to wipe some of this mascara off on the top of the bottle, just so I don't end up with too much. Because if I do get too much on, it can get a little clumpy. I wish it wasn't drying down quite as fast, to be really honest. But kind of we are where we are. I'm gonna put this on one eye so we can then do a comparison between the two eyes. So I have the mascara on my right eye and not on my left eye. It does give me a nice amount of length and a little bit of volume. I do really like it. If you ask me to pick between the Merit and the Victoria Beckham Beauty, I like the way that the Victoria Beckham Beauty mascara washes off. It's no fuss. But I like that the Merit Beauty, at least so far, is not quite as clumpy, and I find it a little bit easier to apply and less fussy on that side. So I like them both for different reasons. I really don't think I can pick a favorite out of the two. I like them both. They each have their own pros and cons, but they're both mascaras that I would repurchase again in the future. Let me go ahead and apply the mascara to my other eye so we're even, and then I will give you just a few more thoughts. One of the big advantages with it being a tubing mascara is It doesn't smudge, it doesn't flake, it's waterproof. I mean, it comes off in warm water, but if you're like in the rain or if you cry or something like that, it's not going to smudge on you. It really takes that warm water to get it off. So I find it to be, in terms of like wearability, one of the most budget-proof mascaras, which I really appreciate, but at the same time, it has a really easy wash off and removal. I think there are a lot of really great positives about this mascara, and it might not be for everyone. I definitely feel like it's a unique product in the clean beauty space that we really haven't had before, and I'm excited that it's now here. So overall, my thoughts, I think the two new concealer shades from, obviously, I should mention this. I didn't mention this clearly before. Both the Kosas and the Ilia both expanded their shade range of their concealer overall. And for me, I am most interested in the fairer shades because those are the ones that impact me. I can share my thoughts on in a meaningful and helpful way about those. So I really focused on those, but overall they did expand their shade range, which I think is just great. I appreciate that both of these concealers now are much more neutral in undertone and also a lot lighter than the previous shades in the line, and also a lot more neutral in undertone than a lot of the other like fair porcelain concealer shades in the clean beauty space. So I think that is a really awesome step forward for both of those brands. The powder, I really could leave it. It's fine. It's not amazing. It's not a product that I think you need to have in your collection. And the mascara, I really enjoy, and that was one of the big reasons I wanted to do this video, was I could sit down and share with you my thoughts on this mascara, because it is really great and a really unique product. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, if you enjoy little reviews, demos, all of that, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. And of course, subscribe to my channel and click the bell button so you're notified of when I post new videos. And come follow me on Instagram. I'm at naturallybeautifulcat there. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.